Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching Daybreak Extra on Trust Television. All right, we'll be diving into our discussion segment, and we'll be discussing on Afrocentric fashion, African prints in contemporary design. So today we're celebrating the vibrant culture and rich heritage of Africa through fashion, showcasing the continent's unique beauty and style. We're talking bold prints, stunning designs, and a fusion of traditional and modern styles that's taken the world by a storm. From runways to streetwear, Afrocentric fashion is making a statement. And joining us today is a renowned fashion designer who's defining the boundaries of Afrocentric fashion, Hauwa Liman. She is the founder and owner of AfrikAbaya, the award-winning Afrocentric fashion brand that has been turning heads with its innovative designs with a passion for showcasing African culture and heritage through fashion. Our guest has been making waves in the industry with her unique blend of traditional African prints and modern style. And hopefully today she will elaborate on where it began and where it is now. You're highly welcome, and thank you for joining us and being here. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure having you.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I believe you might have, you might not have, but you might be tired of hearing this. Where did the inception of AfrikAbaya come from?
Well, I call myself an accidental fashion designer because I never saw myself doing this, but eventually here we are today. So AfrikAbaya started just as a passion, as a hobby. I grew up in space or in a household where we had tailors that we call them seamstresses. I was surrounded by sewing machines, and I had this interest in designing my own outfits right when I was in secondary school, changing the designs of my cellular outfit to create something different, to do something new from what was made for me. If I get it right, I get to show it off to my siblings, and if I spoil it, I go hide it. So eventually over the years, I was in the university then, and I developed this passion or this interest for the abaya, the Arabian outfit, the black one, because coming from northern Nigeria, the way you dress, you cover yourself.
Modesty is
and
key.
all, yes, yeah. Modesty is very key. So, and I found it interesting, the ease with which you work with the abayas. There's no stress of looking, does it match the veil? If you're wearing maybe the traditional wrapper and dress, or the atampa, the skirt and blouse, or the dress, you have to look at the colors, yes, all the stress that comes with it. So the abaya tends to be very easy. Black goes with virtually everything. You can, it complements virtually everything. So I found myself, loving it and having lots of it. And at the same time, I have this eye for catchy African prints. I love the ones with the patterns, with the flowers.
And the colors.
Yes, the colors and everything.
They have very beautiful colors, very colorful.
Yes. So I also have an eye for them. And I one day sat and said to myself, why not let me try something? Why not let me put this with my sewing skills? That time I remember I had my first sewing machine in 2002. Yes, 2002. So I said, okay, why not let me try something? It was actually a ready-made abaya that I had that time, and I cut out some, flowers from an African print. And it was hand sewn that time. I made the flowers using thread and needle, and I placed it. And interestingly, anytime I wear it, wow, where did you get this from? If I take up I'm wondering, and I would tell them I made it myself. So, and along the line, I found myself working with the NYSC. And at the same time, I was holding a schedule that was called the NYC Foundation that gives young core members access to funding to start small businesses. So at that point, it was put on hold for a while, and the demand for it was high. And I kept asking for myself, it cannot continue this way. How do we support these young people? How do we connect them to other opportunities where they can have this funding instead of the NYSC Foundation that is now on hold? And I said, let me begin search. So along the line, I realized I cannot access so many opportunities if I don't have an idea or I don't have an enterprise myself. So I said, why not let me put up something. So I said, okay, let me form a business, let me start a company, and I founded the AfrikAbaya, and I just coined the name. Interestingly, it goes with what I was doing, the abaya from the Arabs and the Afrik from Africa, and it's the fusion of two fashion trends, the African and the Arabian. So we met the two aesthetics, and it bettered the AfrikAbaya.
And it really does go well.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
How has Afrocentric fashion evolved over the years? And what trends do you see emerging in the industry?
Well, interestingly, the rise of Afrocentric fashion globally is an interesting one. It's always been there, because looking back to the 60s and 70s, we've always been fashionable people in Africa. And when you look at the pictures of our mothers, our grandmothers, you know, they're so fashionable, you know, how they style their clothes and everything. But over time, it's really evolved, and it's interesting the way it's going. As you mentioned in your introduction, you know, from runways in Paris to New York, you know, to seeing it on streets of London, in Tokyo and the likes. So it's an interesting one, but I personally will attribute it to some factors. This generation of Africans are not afraid of, you know, saying who they are. So that cultural identity and pride, the younger generation tend to flaunt it anywhere they find themselves.
That boldness.
So yes, that boldness of carrying their identity.
Uniqueness of the African prints.
Yes.
You know?
So, and African prints are so colorful, they're so bold, they're so eye-catching that anywhere you enter, it tends to attract, you know,
and
people.
Turn heads
yes,
as well,
it turns head. And at the same time, I see technology playing a big role, because previously, the accessibility to such materials, to create it, to also access the fashion, the outfits and everything is not as now. We have so much social media presence that fashion designers, you know, people that source the African prints and the like, they have access to so many resources online. So it gives it the opportunity for it to be everywhere to see it also. Then I think also the embracing the Afrocentric fashion by the mainstream fashion also played a key role. Seeing big designers, you know, having African prints in their collection, having big African fashion designers showcasing or having their brands sold in international fashion stores is really contributed in setting the trend. Not only that, I see the African diaspora, the representation is so powerful. You know, you have African weddings in diaspora, and you see them flaunting African prints everywhere. You see them doing the Ashobi internationally. So it shows you that Afrocentric fashion has come to stay, and it's evolving, and I see it going very far, because Ovres and AfrikAbaya was also in Abu Dhabi at the International Modest Fashion Week, and the reception was overwhelming, from having their national TVs to cover the showcase, to having London School of Fashion do a whole review, you know, on AfrikAbaya. It clearly shows how far Afrocentric fashion has gone, and
I believe we should have a clip of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then, as you said, it was recently in Abu Dhabi. Yeah. So I would like to ask, what were the challenges that you faced when starting AfrikAbaya, and then up until it getting to where it is, and how was it received from the get-go by, you know, international interests?
Okay. The challenges for me usually starts from the materials. I use the abaya fabric, and sincerely, sourcing it is a huge tax for me, because it's not readily available in Nigerian markets. Because what people don't usually know is that the abaya fabric is so unique and different. It's not like the normal black fabric we enter the market and buy.
Yeah.
Because it's made to suit the needs of the people using it. So it doesn't absorb heat.
Yes.
It doesn't stretch most of the time. It has some, you know, specifics that comes with it. So getting that exact fabric is a huge challenge for me. Till date, I have no option that to import from, you know, Dubai, Saudi, and Kuwait, or countries that really, you know, utilize that fabric, because here we don't use it. So our fabric merchants do not import it. So that was a huge challenge for me. Secondly is getting the right skilled workers to handle the fabric. Handling it is different from the way you handle the normal Ankara, the normal brocade, the laces and everything. So for you to get a worker that can handle that fabric I mostly have to train from the scratch. I get tailors that know how to sew, but then you now train them on how do you handle the abaya fabric, what type of heat does it take, how do you handle it, how do you, all these things were challenges. Then the market is also another challenge when we started, because getting people to buy from you, they're used to traveling out, Saudi, Turkey, they're used to having all these ready-made abayas, and then this one is abaya with African, and you tell them the price and they're like, why? And these are people that can travel, invest hundreds of thousands buying, the abaya, but
and
buying
they do
from
buy
you.
those kind of
yes, they do buy, but our own is like they will look at it, and so interestingly, the appeal now began to come from international clients. So that really gave us the upper hand. And with the showcase in Abu Dhabi, I think the appeal for it locally also increased, because
it is now international.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, excuse me. Yes, the acceptance we got from the international community also really positioned us locally. It really like gave us this validity of what we're doing.
Talking about challenges, I wanted really to ask her how she got the acceptability and the promotion from other fashion designers or the fashion industry entirely, because we all know that in Nigeria you're the first, or maybe you pioneered and introduced Afrocentric fashion. So from the onset, how did you get the support? Did you really get the support, or you fought to come to limelight?
Maybe if I may like to a bit maybe rearrange the question. I didn't actually introduce Afrocentric, but I would say the modest fashion.
Exactly.
Yes, I was one of the pioneers, those that really started the modest fashion movement, and the Afrocentric company that I really brought into my own really gave me that really carved the niche. Yes, it gave me that niche, and I was doing something different from what others were doing in the space. So that did not really give me a challenge per se, because I didn't see many fashion designers out there as my competitors. Because even if they're doing dresses, they're doing gowns and everything, but I was doing something different. My value proposition was entirely different. My target audience were entirely different. Until date, if you give me skirt and blouse to sew at AfrikAbaya, we do not take it, because we've clearly understood what we wanted to do and we stick to it. So I think that really gave me the upper hand.
How do you think Afrocentric fashion reflects the cultural heritage and identity in Africa entirely?
I think it speaks to who we are, our love for bold colors, coming back from history, our culture, our identity, and our craft. Like the tie and dye, look at the Oframata dye pit, it's been there hundreds of years. So it's really giving us the fashion thing, it's really giving us the platform to showcase who we truly are. Africans are bold, they like to showcase their identity, they don't hide it, they are fashionable people. It takes us back to our roots, to our history, to how we've been using fashion to tell our stories. So Afrocentric fashion has come to stay, and I see it evolving over time again and again. Yeah.
All right. With, now people understanding and wanting to have Afrocentric fashion or clothing in their wardrobe, where do you think it's going? Is there going to be a switch or a change when it comes to, producing Afrocentric fashion?
Well, I think it will continue to evolve. For example, at AfrikAbaya, initially we started with just abayas. Then over time we saw the need, and we're expanding gradually. We've now incorporated, like what I'm wearing now, is the Ankara, but then we did it in an abaya form with some, aesthetics added to it. And not only that, now we're expanding to do like trendy Ankara wears because of the demand from people. So it's continue going to evolve, and with innovation, with young people having lots of ideas, we're going to see lots and lots of manipulation of the African prints. Not only African prints, remember we have other African fabrics. We have the ashoke, we have the adire, we have the kente from Ghana, we have lots and lots of, we have the Guinea brocade from mostly western part of Africa, like Guinea, Senegal, and the like. They all have their own fashion aesthetics. So the younger generation are really taking it to the next level, suiting it to, using it to suit their taste and create amazing fashion.
Okay. And is AfrikAbaya going to continuously stick with the modest route when it comes to the production of the clothing?
Definitely.
All right. Okay.
Young Africans, like you said, are no longer afraid to share, like to wear African prints. They're bold and proud of it. So what other ways do you think for Afrocentric fashion can be used as a form of self-expression and empowerment?
As a form of self-expression and empowerment.
Yeah.
I believe for them to continue to carry it and carry it with pride. Because, for example, myself, people ask me that I'm not shy or I'm not ashamed of, carrying my Africa anywhere I go. I tell them yes, because I have programs in New York, in the UK, anywhere I wear my African clothes, with pride. So young people will continue to do that for us. And for them, like you said, they are bold, they are dramatic, they are not afraid of carrying their identity wherever they go. So I see them continue to do that. And in terms of the empowerment, for me, I think having the confidence to really identify with who you are gives you that empowerment for you to also go out there and empower others. So for them to really see it as something that came out from their roots and not shy away from it will really give them the opportunity to not only empower themselves but also empower others.
Now let's divert to social media, the role of social media in promoting Afrocentric fashion. What role do you think it plays in promoting Afrocentric fashion and African prints?
Well, I think it's one of the major drivers now. From experience, I think our online presence is what has really brought us so far. People know about us. I enter somewhere and they say, this is AfrikAbaya, and it happened yesterday. So it's from social media. So it really gave us the platform and the opportunity to really showcase what we do, how we do it, and also give people opportunity to connect with us, to have access to feel it, to acquire it, to, also gift it to others. So online presence, technology has really played a major part in promoting Afrocentric fashion. You have fashion designers doing businesses from the comfort of their homes without having physical stores. And they promote Afrocentric fashion. You have them doing international businesses all through the use of this social media platform. So it's really a great opportunity, and it gives fashion designers, established ones and upcoming ones, the platform for them to really promote and showcase Afrocentric fashion.
All right. With AfrikAbaya and, we're running it, and it, having the relationship with social media, a lot of young people see what is going on and, see the growth as well, and would want to aspire, to be on that level. Is there a room for, mentorship when it comes to helping people in reaching their goal? And what advice would you have for the younger ones trying to start something innovative as you have?
Yes, there is, because I told you AfrikAbaya was even birthed because of the impact. Having the opportunity to access platforms that I can acquire the knowledge, what it takes to run a business, how to access grants, how to access opportunities to really start something for young people is really what birthed AfrikAbaya. So for me, is what really pushed us to start. And from the onset, from 2005, I was able to, after registering the business and starting it, I was able to, access some life-changing opportunities, like with the set of entrepreneurs to leverage the TEF 20 Elumelu Entrepreneurs Program the first year. So like that knowledge, we've always stepped it down. Every time we access an opportunity, I use my sister initiative, the Inspire for Impact initiative, which is a social enterprise that we use to empower women and youths. So we use that platform to empower young people. And sincerely, I don't have the figures of the young people that we've inspired, both male and female, that we've supported, we've guided, we've mentored to, embrace creative entrepreneurship. Not only creative entrepreneurship, like fashion design. So in 2016, I had opportunity to benefit from the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I also went to University of Texas in Austin, where I did a mini MBA. entrepreneurship and leadership program. That program, since that year, like every year we do mentorship program, we do application drives to guide young people. These are lots and lots of so many other programs, government interventions that young people can, benefit for them to really support themselves. So I always tell young people that I'm a self-taught fashion designer. I never went to a fashion school, and I tell them they can do the same. It's over time that I'm now going back. I see this course here and there. I go on to sharpen, my skills and all. So they have everything at the tip of their fingers, unlike our days that we do not have that opportunity. So I tell young people to do that. If you're really serious, if you really want to get something doing, you have everything. Capital should be the last thing. There are so many opportunities you can access. Now we have trainings virtually every day. Now it's not even every weekend. We have programs, so many development programs, personal and professional, that young people can, benefit from. So they have it now. Otherwise, it's even monetary. You have to pay. But now, more or less, it's free of charge. You even have to choose or decide which one to attend, which one to let go of. So over the years, we've tried, we've done our best, and we'll continue to do it to encourage young people with brilliant ideas to really step up and do something.
Now, fashion designing moves with trend. Afrocentric design is not different, it's inclusive. So how do you balance traditional African aesthetics? Because I believe that you have to upgrade all the time, you incorporate this and think of what to drop. So how do you balance this traditional African aesthetics with modern design sensibilities in your work?
Well, for me, I think I've been able to really define my space and know what I do. So what I do is I try as much as possible to understand the current trends, but I do not leave my own line of what I'm doing. I do not leave my own aesthetics. I do not leave my own what do I call it?
Your statement.
Yes, that's my signature modest concept that I'm known with. I try as much as possible, irrespective of how the trends are moving, I try to stick to it. I study, I observe customer behaviors, but I still try to incorporate a component that will still be as attractive as possible. And you will agree with me that modest fashion is no longer restricted to whether you're a practicing Muslim or you're a Christian and you don't want to allow your body open. Modest fashion is everywhere now. You see so many celebrities, you see so many people that otherwise will not wear modest outfit these days. They carry it with pride, they carry it with elegance, they carry it with so much poise.
Yes.
So modest fashion is also now mainstream fashion. It's everywhere. So that has really given us this edge of not compromising our identity with the contemporary trends that are everywhere.
Last question. Where do you see Afrocentric African fashion in, let's say, 10 years to come?
Wow. This is a difficult one because it's really interesting how it's moving. To give you an example, when I was invited to attend the International Modest Fashion Week, I was to attend in Istanbul in 2024, but I couldn't make it. That time I was the only fashion designer from Nigeria and the only fashion designer from Africa. But just a year later, we were now 3 of us that attended.
Oh, wow.
And I'm telling you, next year, we're going to have, because with our participation, so many fashion designers, not only in Nigeria, but in Africa, have seen that there's a space for Afrocentric fashion on the global space. And so many of them are now aspiring. And for me, I tell people right from the onset when I started, I remember when I attended a program at the Enterprise Development Center, and they asked me a question that where do I see AfrikAbaya in 10 years? And I told them that my vision is to position Afrocentric modest fashion on the global fashion map. And 10 years later, we've done that.
It's happening.
So 10 years from now, I see Afrocentric fashion brands, having spaces across the globe, from New York to Beijing, from, London to Vancouver. I see Afrocentric fashion
everywhere in the international
yes,
scene.
on the international space, yes.
And when you look at it in its entirety, when it comes to African or Afrocentric fashion, you've seen its proliferation in the world when it comes to celebrities as well, even reaching out to designers in Nigeria to make, you know, their attires for them. And that is a very, very welcome development. And what you're doing is amazing, taking Africa and putting it on a pedestal and showing it to the world. It is so great to have you here. It was great, you know, analyzing and dissecting the inception of AfrikAbaya and where it is heading to. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We are so honored to have you. Thank you very much for giving us beautiful insight on Afrocentric fashion today.
Thank you very much.
All right, that is all we have for this segment. Make sure you stay with us for our next segment, where we'll discuss on recent happenings on the entertainment scene and trending stories as well on social media. Don't go away.